Exclusive contract novel of Feilu Fiction Network. Zongman. This is the anime of daily life. Because of crazy liver game, it led to sudden death and reborn into the daily world of Zongman. After entering high school, Takagi Yoshitaka joined the light voice section, and many beautiful girls with various postures gradually appeared around him. Sha Wu said, "Brother, you, accompany me to draw today. I'll show you something beautiful." Akiyama Kane. "I can't get married anymore." Gu Qiaowen said, "If I hesitate any longer, I won't have a chance." There are more and more women around him. Kato Hui. "I will be silently by your side, as long as you don't let go of me." Sakurajima Mai. "Just a junior gentleman, don't take too much advantage." Goto Ichiri. "Senior Takagi is my miracle." PS1. This book covers anime such as Light Tone Girl, Teacher Eromanga, Chuanwu, and the female protagonist of Passers-by. We Cannot Learn Together, such as Sound Form, Youth Pighead Youth, Lonely Rock, and My Sister Cannot Be So Cute. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. The Beginning of High School Life. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding ding ding, ding ding ding. At 7 o'clock in the morning, the alarm clock at the bedside let out a cry of dissatisfaction, as if trying to wake up a lazy pig. Pop. A slap accurately hit the alarm switch, and the boy reluctantly opened his eyes. "Another day," murmured softly. "Wake up and open the curtains." The warm morning sun rushes into the windowsill, and the gentle breeze drives the curtains to sway gently. It's another beautiful day. Brushing teeth, washing face, changing clothes. A series of actions were completed in one go in just 10 minutes. "I'm out." The boy hung a towel around his neck and called out to the room, although no one responded. Gently closing the door, we began our morning exercise. Allah, Xiaoyu went out to exercise so early again. Just outside the door, a beautiful lady greeted the young man at the neighbor's doorstep. "Ah, yes. Good morning, Mrs. Sato. I'm going to exercise." Takagi smiled, waved his hand, and then turned his head and ran away. "Oh Xiaoyu, really, how many times have you said that you want to call Sister Sato?" Mrs. Sato, who has a soft white to pink fried dough twists braid, complains when she looks at the receding figure. Speaking of which, Mrs. Sato is also somewhat pitiful. In the first 2 years, she was supposed to remarry a gentleman surnamed Izumi, but to her surprise, she still hasn't married yet. Unfortunately, one of the Izumi gentlemen was involved in a plane accident, and the matter of remarriage has turned yellow. Mrs. Sato is now a single mother who supports her own daughter alone. Speaking of this world, the current Sakura Kingdom is just a subsidiary of the Dragon Kingdom, which has been a superpower since the prosperous Tang dynasty for over 1,000 years. It has undergone 2 perfect industrial revolutions and now stands at the top of the world. My name is Takagi Yo, and I am a traveler. I have been in this world for 16 years, and I have a very ordinary new life. In his past life, Takagi Yoshitaka was originally a middle-aged man in his 30s, a professional up-owner. However, during a liver game with his fans, he worked tirelessly for 2 consecutive days and nights, and eventually died suddenly. This is what has led to his current rebirth. Although it is not clear why he can be reborn, as long as he can live and preserve the memories of his past life, for Takagi Yoshitaka, this is his capital for a worry-free life. Anyway, the past has passed, what's important is to live well in the present. A morning run that stretches for 5 kilometers, along with 100 push-ups, squats, and sit-ups each, has been a daily exercise that Takagi has been persisting in since elementary school. Well, I don't want to be the bald head of our Chiyu teacher. Returning home, she took a simple shower and changed into a brand new high school uniform, dressed in black. To be honest, Takagi Yo felt that the male school uniform in Sakura province was really disappointing and lacked any vitality. Even the monotonous sports school uniform in her past life was stronger than this. Today is the first day of school, and Takagi Yo also needs to go to school early to at least find her class first. The pedestrians on the road are in groups of 3 or 2, mostly young and youthful girls, mostly students. At least from the school uniforms, many of them are from the same school as Takagi Yoshitaka. It is worth mentioning that the girls in Sakura province are really not afraid of the cold. Although it is early summer, the morning temperature is still somewhat low. The girls in Sakura province are all wearing short skirts, although some are also wearing pantyhose. Most of them still have their white legs exposed in the air, making people dizzy. Fortunately, after so many years of rebirth, Takagi Yo has long been accustomed to these outfits. Well, after watching it for over a decade, not to mention getting tired of it, at least I have enough resistance to it. Zongwu High School. The school where Takagi enrolled initially thought she had read the name wrong, but after careful confirmation, it was correct. Isn't this the school from a previous anime? He said, why does this world have all kinds of strange hair colors? No one finds it strange. After a long time of work, you are reborn into the world where anime is. Strangely enough, before seeing General Wu High School, Takagi Yoshi had always felt that this was just a parallel world similar to Blue Star. As a former UP host, Takagi Yoshitaka has read a variety of novels, movies, anime, and so on. This kind of time-traveling situation is the most common in novels. Of course, unfortunately, although he was reincarnated through time travel, Takagi Yoshitaka did not have the so-called golden finger. If he had memories of his past life, it would be worth it if he didn't say so. Walk into the school gate and find the bulletin board, which is filled with information about all the classes where the new students are enrolled. Because a large group of people crowded around the bulletin board to check information, trying to find their name in hundreds or thousands of lists, Takagi still spent about 10 minutes. First grade class F, homeroom teacher Hiratsuka Jing. Well, a familiar name. Although there has been a rumor on the internet in his past life that travelers should be superior, in Takagi's view, this is pure nonsense. Everyone is a living person, and mutual respect is the basic attitude. He doesn't have many pursuits in this life, he just wants to live an ordinary and easy life. After all, in his past life, Takagi had to spend his life playing liver games with his fans for some living expenses. Following the signs and the guidance of the senior students, Takagi Yoshitaka smoothly found his class. Opening the door, the unique noise in the classroom poured towards Takagi Yo. At this moment, there were already over 20 people in the classroom. Looking over, Gao Muyo finds several relatively familiar faces. Well, there is always a little difference after the transformation from anime to three-dimensional reality, but it does not prevent Gao Muyo from recognizing these familiar faces. Hey, there's a new classmate here again. He looks like a handsome guy. Right, even though it's not as handsome as Yishan. That's for sure. Our falcons were high school students who learned to be handsome from a young age. Amidst the noisy discussions, Takagi also heard some of his classmates' evaluations, but of course, it didn't matter to him at all. Glancing around the classroom, Takagi Yo found a vacant spot by the window and put down her backpack. Hello student. My name is Yubi bin J, and we will be classmates from today on. What is your name? Just as he sat down, Takagi Yo felt a gentle touch from behind, with a lively and cheerful voice coming from behind. Gao Muyo stiffened for a moment, then turned around and looked at his pink-haired classmate with a smile on his face. He said, "Hello, my name is Gao Muyo. Nice to meet you. Takagi, please take good care of me in the future." Yubi bin J looked happy. Bang! At this moment, the door of the classroom seemed to be knocked open by a car, making a huge noise, and a cheerful reprimand came from. Everyone, immediately return to your seats. Chapter 2. Mixed Comic World. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Everyone, immediately return to your seats. A black long straight teacher, wearing a white coat and holding a stack of documents, stood at the door. His fierce gaze swept over the classroom, and wherever his gaze reached, everyone felt a chill behind him. The classroom fell into a moment of silence. Why, didn't you hear me, did you? Or did you want to experience the care of your teacher on your first day of school? Teacher Bai de Gua clenched his fist in front of him. Brush. All the students quickly returned to their positions, and even two unlucky ones fell to the ground in a hurry while running because they had just sat at the table, but still couldn't stop them from quickly returning to their positions. In just 10 seconds, everyone returned to their respective positions, sitting upright one by one, as if I were a good student. How to put it, our teacher seems a bit special. Behind Takagi Yoshitaka came a low murmur from Yoshimoto. Takagi Yo remained silent, looking at a familiar face. It should be said that he is worthy of the original anime character. His teacher's appearance, regardless of his appearance or body, belongs to the category of extremely high scores among the women he has met. Of course, not including personality, habits. As the students sat down one by one, Hiratsuka Jing nodded in satisfaction, walked up to the podium, picked up chalk, and wrote on the blackboard. Hizuka Jing, 045. *****, this is my name and phone number. From today on, I will be the homeroom teacher of Class F in your first grade. To put it bluntly, in the coming year, I don't want to hear that classmate cause me any trouble. If you have any dissatisfaction, you can directly discuss it with me, although it may not be useful. Alright, let's start from my right side, from front to back, and introduce ourselves one by one. Hiratsuka Jing waved her hand and pointed to the student sitting first by the window. Hello everyone. My name is Kazuru Ono, I am 16 years old and my hobbies are photography and watching TV dramas. The first student stood up and briefly introduced themselves, then sat down. My name is Kawasaki Sashi, and I don't have anything I particularly like. Hehe, hello everyone, my name is Hobu Xiang, I am 16 years old, and I enjoy outdoor sports, music, food. The 2-minute self-introduction. My name is Kei Kato. If I have a hobby, I don't know if cooking counts, the girl in front of Takagi whispered before sitting down again. It's good to introduce myself in a simple way, so of course, Takagi Yoshitaka won't stand out and say, hello everyone, my name is Takagi Yoshitaka. I'm 16 years old and occasionally read light novels. Yaha, my name is Yubi Binjie. My name is Yumiko Miura. Takasaka Kayasuk Gu Chiao. When as each student introduced themselves, familiar names appeared in Takagi's ear. How did it feel like something was wrong? Kato Hui. Takasaka Kayasuk. The ancient bridge text is. Good guy, this is probably a mixed anime world. However, fortunately, Takagi Yo has a strong acceptance ability, and it doesn't matter whether he gets mixed up or not. Anyway, it has nothing to do with him. Now he can barely remember someone else's name, and he's not familiar with anything else. Just live your life honestly. On the podium, seeing that the classmates had all completed their self-introductions, Hiratsuka Jing nodded and said, well, except for this one named Bikigu Hachiman who didn't arrive due to a car accident, there are quite a few others. Hiratsuka Jing glanced at the time again and waved his hand, Yoshi, little ghosts, everyone line up for me in 2 lines and come with me to the school auditorium to attend the opening ceremony. The students quickly took action one by one, quickly lined up and followed Hizuka to the school auditorium. A morning passed, and after the speeches of the school leaders, the president of the student union, and representatives of outstanding students, the opening ceremony ended, and most of the students returned to the classroom like frosted eggplants. It has to be said that even Takagi is a bit overwhelmed, especially with the speech of the school leaders, who talked for a full hour and a half, even though he didn't know what he was saying until later. Ah! It's finally over. That principal is really talkative, even more than my mom. Takagi, do you think so? Yoshimoto Jie poked Takagi Yoyo's back with his finger. Perhaps it was just the beginning of school, and I wasn't very familiar with my classmates around me, so Bibin Jie found Takagi Yoshitaka who had a few conversations to share his grievances. It's okay, after all, the school leaders are like this, and they've almost gotten used to it. I don't need such a habit. When it comes to Takagi, even though we are both 16 years old, he gives people a feeling of maturity. How did he do it? Takagi Yo was momentarily taken aback and responded, I'll know when you've experienced the social beating by Bibin. Hey. What? It's like Takagi entered society before. I won't talk to you anymore. Yubi-bin clearly didn't believe Takagi Yoshitaka's nonsense, muttered a sentence, and then turned around to chat with Miura Yoshiko at her back table. After the opening ceremony, it was not yet noon break, and now it was the last class in the morning. They had just finished the opening ceremony, and their homeroom teacher was also very busy. They just informed the students to study independently before running away. Kato K, who was in the front row of Takagi Yo, turned her head slightly and looked out the window, but all the conversation between the two behind her was recorded in her ears. On the first day of high school, after lunch break, there were only 2 classes in the afternoon, and there was no direct class. We just met a new teacher and introduced ourselves twice. Takagi, see you tomorrow. Yubi Binjie picked up her backpack and chased after Yumiko Miura with great enthusiasm, not forgetting to say hello to Takagi. See you tomorrow. Takagi Yoshi instinctively replied. Returning to his senses and shaking his head, the breath of youth once again infected him. How to say, this feeling is not unpleasant. As an old boy who is almost 50 years old in his past and present life, Takagi Yoshitaka feels that his mentality may be slightly different from most people, as he can still maintain a body that matches his current 16-year-old. Chapter 3. Encountering Convenience Stores. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After school, Takagi Yo didn't rush home, but went to a convenience store not far from home to replenish the ingredients. Although he was the only one left at home now, he still had to keep up with the 3 meals a day. Although takeout has been gradually popularized in Sakura province in recent years, Takagi Yoshitaka believes more in her own skills than takeout. As a foodie, how could she be so unfair to her mouth? I don't know if it was due to the time traveler, but when Takagi was 5 years old, his parents had a car accident while going to work and unfortunately passed away. Because mentally, Takagi Yo is equivalent to an adult in his 30s, even memories before the age of 5 are still etched in his mind. The young couple took care of him in every way, and every happy moment was clear and unparalleled. Yuki Takagi also highly recognizes the parents of this generation. Therefore, upon suddenly learning that both of them had passed away, Takagi Yo felt sad for a month. If it weren't for meeting that girl, he might have continued to sink. I remember the girl who looked disheveled at the time, but saved me from the darkness. Takagi Yo couldn't help but smile. Hey! Are you Gao Muyu's classmate? At some point, a young girl stood in front of Takagi Yo, holding a vegetable basket and looking at him expressionlessly with her head slightly tilted. Her calm eyes showed a hint of curiosity. Although she had no expression on her face, Takagi felt particularly cute. Ah! It's me, it turns out to be Kato. Hello, are you also here to buy groceries? After a moment of confusion, Takagi responded to the girl. Yes, my mother is busy with something and asked me to come and purchase ingredients. Speaking of which, Takagi's ability to remember my name surprised me a bit, as none of the other classmates remember it. The girl spoke in a calm tone about some terrible event. Let Takagi recall that the presence of the young girl in front of her seemed a bit different from that of an ordinary person. According to comments from netizens in previous lives, what kind of crown assassin was she? The enemy didn't even notice her, so she had already cooled down. However, Takagi Yoshitaka didn't think it was that exaggerated. At least, He could see the girl vividly and remember her name, even though today was only the first day we met. How to put it, I don't know much about others' memory of you, but in my eyes, Kato is a very cute and prominent presence. Takagi Yo spoke seriously about the facts he believed. Hey, it's not as exaggerated as what Takagi said, but I'm still very happy that Takagi can say that. That's what I said, but I can't see you are happy. Staring at the girl whose expression has not changed at all, Takagi slightly roast. Really? Well, it's getting late and I've almost finished purchasing the ingredients. I'll go home first, Takagi. Goodbye. Kato politely waved his hand to Takagi Yoshi and walked towards the cashier. In a location that Takagi Yoshitaka had not noticed, even with an expressionless expression on her face, Kato Huey's earlobes turned slightly red. Well, goodbye, Kato. Yuki Takagi carefully selected the ingredients she needed and prepared to go home. Takagiyu's home is a standard one-family building left by his parents, covering an area of over 150 square meters. It is also surrounded by a wall and a small yard, where decorative flowers, plants, and 2 common landscape trees are planted. I'm afraid this is not the curse of the traveler, is it? Takagi Yoshi remembers reading many novels in his past life where his parents died and he had a sister who had a house, even though he didn't have a sister. Returning home, proficiently taking out the key, I saw a pair of fans' women's sports shoes in the foyer, which may only be around size 35. Has there been a thief at home? Of course not. Takagi Yoshitaka can easily identify the owner of the shoes as the daughter of the neighboring Mrs. Sato family. Shawu, why did you use the spare key to enter my house again? If your mother finds out, she will definitely spank you. Takagi Yo shouted into the room. Dang dang dang. A white-haired little loli quickly rushed to Takagi, holding up a tablet with both hands to display the content inside, speaking excitedly. Humph, I won't get spanked. I came here for work this time. Brother you, come and see how my new illustration looks. Looking at Sato Sawashi's positive expression, Takagi Yoshitaka couldn't help but smile bitterly. Then she looked at the screen, but her face gradually became strange. Ah duo, how can I say that the chubby strawberry pattern is very cute? What kind of chubby strawberry pattern? It's clearly guatai. Not right. As she spoke, Sato paused before turning the screen stiffly to see the image above. Wait, this is not my own. Sato's gaze gradually became fierce as he stared at Takagi Yoshitaka and said, Yoshitaka, you didn't see anything just now, did you? Takagi Yo awkwardly turned his head and remained silent, knowing that everything he said at this moment was unnecessary. Pop pop pop. Sato raised her notebook in her hand and vigorously patted it against Takagi Yoshi. Brother you is perverted, a pornographic maniac. Fortunately, Xiaoyuli's strength is relatively weak. Not to mention hurting people, at least the tablet is fine. It's clearly what you want to show me, but you're the one who gets angry. Women are really hard to understand, and even little loli is worth it. Of course, it was impossible for Takagi to say this, so Sato could only vent his frustration. After a while, he got tired and stopped his campaign against Takagi. Alright, I really didn't see anything just now. Miss Sha Wu, please don't forget to let me go, don't you? Takagi Yoshitaka clasped her hands together and sincerely apologized to Sato. Don't reason with them, just apologize, otherwise the wait will be endless. Humph, judging from your serious attitude, let it go this time. But just now, you didn't see anything, you know. Perhaps tired from the fight, Sato Sawasher, who was slightly panting, stopped his attack on Takagi Yoshitaka, and then embraced his chest with both hands, examining Takagi Yoshitaka with a condescending demeanor. Hi, I didn't see anything. Takagi Yo cooperated with the little person in front of him, even though it was so small and cute, it occasionally emitted a dangerous aura that made him feel dangerous. By the way, Brother Yu, hurry up and take a look at this. How about this illustration of the Osaka Meichin? I think it's the highest masterpiece of my time. As he spoke, he lifted the tablet again and hit Takagi Yo's face. Chapter 4, I'm not, that's nonsense. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Taking the tablet from Sato Sawashi's hand, his attitude became serious. The screen displayed the posture of Misaki Osaka holding a coin, about to fire a super electromagnetic cannon. It has to be said that this set of people is almost the same as the original one in the previous life, with the same heroic demeanor and the same airport. To be honest, our Sato, pen name teacher Iramana, is not best at this ordinary style. And occasionally, they also use themselves as templates for creation. There's no problem with this persona itself, the character's expression is just right, and the lines are handled very well. However, I don't think this chubby appearance should be exposed. Although I also think it's cute, Sayaka doesn't want her chubby appearance to be seen casually, does she? Misaki Osaka is also a girl, so she can't just show her chubby appearance. Let's change it to safety pants. Takagi spoke confidently, without noticing that she had once again violated the taboo. Sato's face turned darker and darker as she didn't have a tablet in her hand. This time, she silently picked up her slippers, pop. Brother you pervert, a pornographic maniac. Under the greeting of the slippers, Takagi Yo died with resentment. Of course, in reality, she was only lightly slapped a dozen times, and her face did not turn red. He couldn't understand it. Even though it was her own masterpiece and she asked her to comment on it, he carefully commented on it, but still got beaten up. This is the shyness of a young girl. Another round of begging for mercy and praise from the young girl, soon overshadowed this matter. Sato also understood Takagi's meaning and made modifications to the illustrations of Misaki Osaka, changing the exposed chubby figure to safety pants. Why did there appear illustrations of the Odamiku? Of course, it was Takagi's masterpiece. In simple terms, Takagi became a porter of past cultures, bringing some of the most popular works of his past to this world. In addition to the catalog of magic forbidden books, Takagi Yo also copied before. How can the story of a scholar be called copying? Of course it was a reference. Takagi Yoshitaka also drew inspiration from short light novels such as 5 centimeters in a Second and The Court of Words and Leaves, as well as the long light novel Reincarnation Slim. With these excellent works from his past life, he has achieved remarkable results that countless Sakura Province light novel writers look up to. This has made Takagi Yo stand out in the current light novel industry, and he has also gained the admiration of fans for his works 5 centimeters in a Second and Court of Words and Leaves, earning him the title of Takagi Old Thief. Of course, Takagi Yoshimasa has never appeared in front of the public, and fans do not know what Takagi Yoshimasa looks like. Although some fans have speculated that Takagi is his real name, there is still no evidence, and who would a normal writer use their real name as their pen name? With the cooperation of Takagi Yo and the editor, he completed the operation of turning black under the light. Sakura students have really limited class time. They start school at 8:30 in the morning and finish school at 3:30 in the afternoon. Students who participate in activity clubs will stay at school until around 5 p.m. Of course, on the first day of school, Takagi no longer rushed to join any clubs. So today after school, I went to buy ingredients and returned home. Actually, it was only 4:30 p.m. and I could start cooking. After organizing the ingredients, Takagi decided to make a light dish because Sato will definitely stay for dinner today. He made a steamed sea base, 3 colored shredded potatoes, lean meat and egg soup, 2 dishes and 1 soup. Although he has been in Sakura Province for 16 years, Takagi Yo still prefers local cuisine in Rukuni. I think no foodie can refuse the 8 major Rukuni cuisines. Shawu, come wash your hands and get ready to eat. Takagi Yo shouted outside the kitchen. Hi, here we are. Then, two Iramana teachers, one big and one small, came to the kitchen and proficiently washed their hands. One was serving rice, and the other was carrying vegetables as they walked out. This smooth and flowing operation left Takagi stunned for a moment. Is there something strange sneaking in? Hello, when did you come over, Mrs. Sato? This is my house. Hey hee, Xiaoyu, don't worry too much. Come over and have a meal quickly. This fish is really delicious, and the soup is also delicious. It's just eggs and a little bit of meat, why is it so delicious? Come on, Xiao Wu, eat more meat. Hello, this is not your own home. A lady with a fried dough twists braid unconsciously started cooking. Is it really good for Takagi to silently support his forehead, even though she is already a mother with a child, to always come and grab food from a solitary male household? Although Mrs. Sato takes care of herself very well, looking only 25.6 years old and with fair and tender skin, Takagi Yoshitaka has no intention of becoming a thief, not considering the opinions of Sato and others. Do you really think I'm a child? Well, okay. At the age of 16 in this world, it seems that I am indeed a child. But this is not a reason why you are so indulgent, madam. Takagi deeply condemned the lady in her heart, and then physically came to the dining table to eat together. After meals. Hiccup, it's so satisfying. Xiaoyu made the food even better than those hotel chefs outside. If only she could eat it every day. Mrs. Sato is half lying on the sofa regardless of her image. She looks like a salted fish. Sato can't bear to see it, and she roast. Mom is just too useless. She can't even cook well, and she used to often faint from hunger. I really don't know how you survived until now. That's just that Mom is too devoted to work, it has nothing to do with whether I waste or not. Don't think you can slander Mom just because you're Mom's daughter. Really? Who used to often not cook to make their daughter hungry, and who was sent to the hospital for an 4 shot because they ate too much instant noodles. And who? Sob. I'm not, don't talk nonsense. Mrs. Sato quickly covered Sato's mouth with her hand. Sato rose up in rebellion, and the mother and daughter fought together. Even though Takagi had seen the scene more than once, she couldn't help but glance at it. Well, just one glance. Do not look at or hear unless it is proper etiquette. Chapter 5. You don't want others to know this thing, do you? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Perhaps it was because the Sato mother and daughter later realized that they were not at their own home. In the middle of the battle, they found Takagi watching a play on the side and immediately put an emergency ceasefire in place. Sato didn't even dare to look at Takagi. She covered her face, which was so red that she ran out directly. Even Mrs. Sato, who had thicker skin, blushed. She calmly tidied up her somewhat messy clothes and slowly retreated with a shy smile. Well, Xiaoyu's food is very delicious. Next time, I want to eat mapo tofu with less chili. Remember to make me one. Looking at Mrs. Sato, who was already half standing outside the door and preparing to run away, she couldn't help but roar, Hey, why did you still order groceries? And there's another time. My rice is free, right? Well, it's just the money for the meal. I'll marry Zayashawa later. Ah, it hurts. Zayashawa, why are you biting me? I know, Mom won't talk anymore. Bang. The door was violently closed. Takagi was dumbfounded at the sight, but could only smile helplessly. The operation of this live treasure mother and daughter really made him a bit helpless, but it also showed that they trusted him too much. So many times, the two of them don't have much concern in front of him. If we were to switch to the storyline, it's possible that their actions would have been secretly filmed long ago, and then a classic quote would appear, such as, Madam, you don't want anyone to know about this, do you? However, being trusted by others makes Takagi feel very happy, which represents their recognition of themselves, doesn't it? After tidying up the battlefield left behind by the two people's quarrel, I went to take a brief bath. It was already past 7 p.m. in the evening. It's time for work again. Of course, it's not going to work outside, but Takagi Yoshitaka's reference to the big business. Well, the Catalogue of Magic Forbidden Books he borrowed this time is a super long light novel, and only 5 volumes have been released so far. You should know that the various main storylines and branch plots of the Catalogue of Magic Forbidden Books have a total of more than 50 volumes. Even with Takagi's current speed of 10,000 or 20,000 pieces per day, it takes about a year to complete this huge reference project. Of course, in fact, Takagi has already coded to the 11th volume. Even if he doesn't code for the next 6 months, it won't be a problem. However, Takagi thinks it's best to be prepared. Therefore, Takagi codes for at least 2 hours every day, and if he doesn't go out on weekends, he can even code for 40,000 to 50,000 yuan per day. If the writers of Salty Fish light novels who update the volume every quarter knew this, they would certainly complain that Gaomuyo is not a person. Why do you have to be so diligent when you can salted fish? After all, pure handling does not require thinking, as long as the hand speed is fast enough and there is patience, everything is easy to handle. Being able to clearly preserve the memories of her past life is truly Takagi's biggest cheat in this life. Ding ding ding. The familiar ringtone reminded Takagi, who was struggling to code words, to frown and stop. He picked up his phone and looked at it. His editor's call still had to be answered. Good evening, Moses, Teacher Takagi. I'm really sorry to disturb you at this time, but due to the request of Editor-in-Chief Sakamoto, I can only disturb you. The voice of a mature middle-aged man came over the phone. Editor-in-Chief Yamamoto, you're welcome. What's wrong with Editor-in-Chief Sakamoto? Takamuyu's attitude became slightly serious. After all, the editor-in-chief of the Electric Shock Library had already forced his responsible editor to call specifically, so there must be something urgent. It's like this, because so far the sales volume of the 5th volume of the Catalogue of Magic Forbidden Books has reached 800,000 copies in the first month. Sakamoto, the editor-in-chief, wants the 5th volume to exceed 1 million copies, so we hope you can cooperate, such as publicly disclosing some of your information, such as a 16-year-old genius writer, and personally signing some books to attract customers. How about you take a look? When saying this, the editor-in-chief Yamamoto was very cautious. After all, Takagi Yoshitaka had previously signed a confidentiality agreement with Electric Shock Bunko and could not disclose any personal information of Takagi Yoshitaka. Now their editor-in-chief's operation is undoubtedly a bit irregular, but this is all because Takagi's achievements are too dazzling, and it has also brought huge benefits to the Electric Shock Library. Of course, Takagi himself has also made countless profits, to the extent that even if he just fools around and waits to die every day, his bank balance can withstand his reckless spending. However, human hearts are greedy, and if they can obtain greater benefits, people are definitely willing to give it a try, even if it violates laws and regulations. After completing a phenomenal light novel, Takagi Yoshitaka's Catalogue of Magic Forbidden Books has only achieved 5 volumes, which many older generations of light novel predecessors have to spend their entire lives looking up to. So far, the total sales of the Catalogue of Magic Forbidden Books in 5 volumes have reached a terrifying 6 million copies, which is still the result of the 5th volume only being released for half a month. You should know that Takagi's previous film Reincarnation Slim has now even surpassed 22 million sales. This is still the record since the completion of the main storyline of Reincarnation Slim for half a year, with a considerable number of side and derivative plots not yet released. If all of them are arranged, it is conservatively estimated that they can exceed 30 million. Nowadays, Catalogue of Magic Forbidden Books is another phenomenal light novel that is popular among many student groups, and its achievements may even surpass Reincarnation Slim. So, Clicking on the library is also very willing to spend money, at least in terms of advertising and promotion efforts. The Magic Forbidden Book catalog has been arranged to the maximum extent, and half of the library is almost serving Takagi. Considering various circumstances, Takagi Yoshitaka may not be able to refuse Sakamoto's request. After all, this can be considered as advertising for himself, attracting more customers, and further increasing his income. So, after a moment of contemplation, Takagi replied, "I can have a handwritten signature, but I still hope to control the quantity." "You don't want me to feel so frustrated after signing, do you? As for the reputation of a 16-year-old genius writer, there's no need to hype it up. After all, I don't want to be dragged away and dismembered by a group of fans one day." So you should know how to do it, right? Chapter 6. Girls' faces cannot be touched casually. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, we will carry out appropriate promotion according to your requirements, Teacher Takagi. We will ask the courier company to deliver the physical document that requires your signature to your home. It should arrive around 5 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Please check it when it arrives. I'm really sorry to bother you so late. The editor-in-chief, who showed a humble demeanor, apologized again. As the editor-in-chief of the Electric Shock Library, Yamamoto usually didn't need to treat an author with such an attitude, but Takagi Yoshitaka is different. As half of the sky of the Electric Shock Library today, even the chief editor of Sakamoto has to be polite to Takagi Yoshitaka. If something is not done properly and Takagi's anger runs away, it will not only be a huge loss to the Shockwave Library, but even the editor-in-chief will have to be replaced. It can be imagined that Teacher Takagi now holds a significant position in the Electric Shock Library. Editor-in-chief Yamamoto, you've worked hard too. Takagi Yo hung up the phone, tapped his right index finger lightly on the table, briefly thought about the next arrangements, and then touched the keyboard again to continue typing. The next day, Takagi Yoshitaka, who had completed her daily morning exercises, returned home and prepared a bento for herself before embarking on the road to school. Entering the classroom, passing by the front seats, the girl looked out the window with a calm face that was neither happy nor sad, peaceful and elegant. "Oh haha, Kato." Upon hearing Takagi Yo's voice, the girl turned her head slightly and whispered, "Good morning Takagi, you still remember me today." Of course, for the people and things in this world, as long as they are within my sight, everything cannot escape my eyes. What is that, a secondary illness? No, it's just stating a fact. Takagi Yoshitaka sat in her seat and put away her backpack. Well, how to put it, it makes me feel very happy that Takagi can remember me. Kato, who had no expression or fluctuation, said so. "Hey, nanny, Takagi in this. Hey duo, what are Ghanaian classmates saying? They seem to be very happy." Takashi was about to roast about the lack of saints' benefits, when a pink-haired girl leaned over and looked at them curiously. "It's Kato Huey's classmate. If you don't even call your name correctly, don't shout it out." Takagi Yoshitaka pushed away the face that blocked her view with disdain. Of course, it's not that she dislikes the wedding ceremony by Bibbin. It's just that this face is in the middle of the two people. Why do anime girls always like to put their faces in front of others? Although it may look nice at times, what if you encounter a bad temper and just slap your hand? Can this be considered as putting your face up and getting beaten up? Hey, what are you doing, Takagi? Don't you know that girls' faces can't be touched casually? Yubi Binjia, with a disgruntled expression on her face, punched Takagi Yo's shoulder with a small fist, without any pain at all. The relationship between Yubi Bin and Takagi is really good. Looking at the pink-haired girl who suddenly joined the chat, Kato Huey's expression did not show any waves, as if she had seen it many times before. It's not that good either. I only got to know Takagi yesterday, but I think he's easy to get along with, so I'll let him go a bit. Yubi Binjia made a little gesture with her index finger and thumb. Well, Takagi is really easy to get along with. That's right, that's right. I feel like Takagi has a mature adult feeling. Then, starting from Baihama J, he pulled Kato Hui Balabara and talked a lot, from Takagi Yoshitaka to other classmates in the class, from classmates to favorite food, and then from food to clothes. Most of the time, it was Kei Baihama who spoke, and as a listener, Kei Kato occasionally asked a few questions. And so, only Takagi's isolated world appeared. Of course, Takagi no longer cared about it. Seeing the two of them getting to know each other and their relationship gradually getting better, Takagi felt like an old man watching the younger generation play happily. No, I'm just a 16-year-old teenager, not an elderly person. Takagi rose to himself in his heart. On the middle seat on the other side of the classroom, there were several girls gathered around Yumiko Miura. She glanced at Yubi Bin J, a woman who chased after her yesterday and chatted so happily with other women today. Do you think I am the heir? Humph. A dissatisfied snort, as if one's toy had been snatched away by someone else. A certain blue-haired sleeping beauty, known as Fukino Furuhashi, is, as she is, sleeping soundly on her desk. Hello, is it really good to sleep in the classroom early in the morning? What did you do last night? The core of the boys, represented by Yishan Phelan, was chatting and laughing with his classmates. The classroom was lively in the early morning until a loud bang. Bang! Class teacher Shizuka Hiratsuka makes a brilliant appearance. Little ones, immediately get back to your seat. After a flurry of ups and downs, the students in the class sat upright in their seats one by one. Hizuka Jing nodded in satisfaction, and suddenly in her spare time, she noticed a sleeping beauty. In the first class in the morning, and even in my class, I dare to sleep. It seems that some people don't take my mother seriously, do they? Last night, after another failed blind date, Hiratsuka Jing frowned and calmly took out a small half of the chalk tip from the chalk box. Brush. A white stream of light cuts through the air and accurately hits the target. Bang! The muffled sound of chalk hitting the forehead was heard by almost everyone in the classroom, accompanied by bursts of air conditioning sounds. Ow, it hurts so much. Gu Qiaowen let out a mournful cry, his whole body instantly awakened, tears in his eyes, covering his head and looking around with a bewildered expression, as if searching for the murderer. Don't look for it, it was me who did it. Gu Qiao, you can stand and teach me this class. Hizuka Jing clapped her hands, ignoring the melancholic gaze of Kobashi Buno. She picked up a chalk and walked around on the blackboard. Classmates looked at Gu Qiao with strange eyes, daring to sleep in the class teacher's class on the second day of school. You are also a talented person. The gaze of his classmates made Gu Qiaowen, who was already thin-skinned, feel shy and want to run away directly. However, in class, he could only use books to cover his already flushed face. It's all because of the despicable Takagi thief, who was so obsessed with watching 5 centimeters in a second, that he didn't go to bed until 4 a.m. yesterday morning. Only Gu Qiaowen murmured in a voice that he could hear. Chapter 7. Class Cadre Election. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Doodle doodle. The chalk kept tapping on the blackboard, making a dull sound, and the students also saw the content written by Hizuka Jing. Theme. Class Cadre Election. Below are some specific positions, including class monitor, deputy class monitor, sports committee member, publicity committee member, and nearly 10 other positions. There are only 28 students in a class, and almost half of them are committee members, which allows capable students to receive more exercise. This is also a way for Sakura Province to cultivate students' abilities. Fellow students, everyone actively campaigned. Of course, it would be even better if you took the initiative to assume the corresponding positions yourself. Now I will give you 5 minutes to discuss, and after 5 minutes, I want to see the results. As soon as the words fell, there was a commotion in the calm classroom, and the students looked around one by one. You recommended me, I recommended you. Of course, there were also a few people who wanted to take the initiative because this was a good opportunity to stand out. Adolescent boys and girls, who doesn't want to stand in high positions and wield their might. Those who truly want to prove themselves are always in the minority. The discussion is over. A cute-looking boy stood up first and said, "Teacher Hiratsuka, can I become a sports committee member?" Seeing someone so enthusiastic, Hiratsuka Jing made a decisive decision and said, "Huzuka Tsaija, right. From now on, that's the sports committee member of our first grade F class. I hope you won't disappoint me." "Yes, I will definitely work hard to not disappoint the teacher's trust." Otsuka Kaika responded with excitement. With a good start, the casting process went very smoothly, either through self-recommendation or a group of people cheering and pushing up. Within 10 minutes, the position of class leader was quickly occupied, leaving only the last class leader who had not yet taken the initiative. First grade class F, in fact, most of them are students with lower exam scores. Although there are also some who do well, they are always in the minority, and almost all of them have just chosen a position. We still need one class monitor. Is there anyone willing to take the initiative or someone recommended by our classmates? Hizuka Jing looked at the students. The position of class monitor is a very important position in the class, to the extent that the pressure it needs to bear is almost several times that of other positions. It requires cooperation with teachers to coordinate and manage classmates, convey important matters, and promote class cohesion. Not everyone has the ability to do well. Well done, everyone will definitely treat you with great respect. I'm sorry, but who are you? It would be good if I didn't speak ill of you behind your back every day. And often, what the class monitor does is mostly laborious and thankless, so few students are willing to take the initiative to serve as the class monitor. So, at this moment, the classroom is quiet, and many ordinary students are afraid that this position will fall on them. No one recommended themselves, right? No one recommended me either. If not, I'll just call the names. No matter who I call, there won't be a chance to discuss it. There is still no response. Since that's the case, then who is it? It's you. I remember your name is Gao Muyo, right? From today on, you will be the monitor of Class F in our first grade. Come to my office after class and I need to talk to you about some things. What? Takagi Yoshitaka looked bewildered. Quietly cute, what are you doing? I'm sitting here honestly, with a person in my seat and a knife coming from the sky. Wait, Teacher Hizuka, why am I the class monitor? Takagi Yu still wants to struggle. Although he is fully capable of taking on this position, it doesn't mean he wants to be a salted fish. Isn't it good to be a salted fish on a regular basis? Hiratsuka Jingbai glanced at Takagi Yoshitaka and then looked at the entire classroom. Given that Takagi has questions, I think everyone will also think, why did I choose Takagi Yoshitaka as class monitor? The reason is simple. Takagi Yoshitaka ranked third in the entire grade in the entrance exam. Alright, do you have any further questions? Shouldn't Takagi be so strong? How could he get third in the whole grade? You know, there are over 800 students in our first grade this year. Yeah, I can't believe there's such a big shot in our F class. I can't tell at all, okay. Takagi is too low. Key. If I can get third place in the whole grade, I'll just take off. The eyes of the classmates who looked at Takagi Yo changed one by one, and they were all admiring. It should be noted that even in Chiba City, Zongwu High School is a key school, and the deviation value for admitting students is generally high. Even so, Takagi Yoshi can still achieve third place in the entire grade, and his actual strength is absolutely beyond doubt. Okay. Takagi Yoshitaka was powerless to refute. She had already intentionally lowered her score by answering fewer questions, in order to avoid becoming the top student in her grade and not having to give a speech at the freshman entrance ceremony. As a new student representative, the first meeting of the grade took the stage to give a speech. It is worth mentioning that yesterday at the school opening ceremony, a young girl named Shueji Xiaoxue gave a speech. Alright, since all the class cadres elections have been completed, I hope all the students can get along well and make our class even better. Next, we need to get back to the main topic. Take out our Chinese textbooks and flip to the first page. Campus life has officially begun, although it may be a bit unsatisfactory, it is still a good experience for Takagi, because this is a carefree student era. 2 weeks after the start of school. Nah, Xiaoyu, do you have any clubs you want to join? Yoshimoto approached Takagi Yoshimoto and asked. Kato K, who was in the front row of Takagi, slightly turned over and looked at the two, seemingly curious about Takagi-yo's answer. Well. To put it another way, I don't really want to join a club. I'm usually very busy, but after school, I have to earn money to support my family. Also, don't call me Xiaoyu, make me seem younger than you. Of course, this is just a lie to deceive a girl with pink hair. As a top writer in the literary library with a total sales volume of 40 million light novels, can Takagi still worry about money? But we don't know about Yubi bin J. Hey, does Xiaoyu still have to work after school? Is Xiaoyu's family very short of money? The pink-haired girl ignored the latter half of Takagi's words and asked with a concerned expression. Well, yes, I'm very short of money. If I don't go to work, I can't even afford to eat. Maybe I'll starve to death on the streets tomorrow. Takagi spoke nonsense with a serious expression on his face. Hey, it's so pitiful. So. I still have 2,000 cherry blossom coins here. This is my pocket money. Xiaoyu, take it and use it first. Yubi Binjie immediately took out 2,000 yuan bills from her skirt pocket and stuffed them into Takagi Yoshitaka's hand. Looking at the 2 crumpled banknotes in his hand, Takagi-yo's head was covered in black lines. PS1. Is anyone reading this book, bosses? If there are any, please let me know that someone is reading my book. Thank you. PS2. Thank you very much to the unknown boss for sending me over 5,000 flowers. Thank you very much for your support. No matter how good my grades are, I will finish this book because I was able to write my own manga novel a long time ago, and now I am officially typing the keyboard. Chapter 8. Is just about raising a Yubi bin. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Looking at the 2 crumpled banknotes in his hand, Takagi Yoshitaka's head was covered in black thread, and he exclaimed, "Good guy," in his heart. He then glanced at Yubi bin J's pitiful gaze, which seemed to be true. You're too easy to deceive, right? Seeing Takagi stunned, Yoshimoto thought he was trying to refuse to accept her pocket money. He quickly added, "It's okay, this is just my pocket money for a week, and my mother will give it to me again next week. So, if Xiaoyu is short of money, let's use it first, and when you have money, you can give it back to me." Dong! A small hand lightly tapped on the forehead of Yoshimoto's head, and Kato K's plain voice came. Yaga Takagi is lying to you. Wu Xiaoyu shouldn't be lying to me, right? Yubi bin let out a light whimper and looked at the girl who came over with an puzzled expression on his face. It's Kato Hui. In the 2 weeks since the start of school, their relationship has been getting better and they are almost becoming good friends. Therefore, when she saw Yubi bin being deceived by her clothes, Kato Hui thought it would be better to remind her. Looking at the puzzled girl in front of her, Kato K explained, "I've encountered Takagi purchasing ingredients several times at a convenience store before. How to put it, Takagi doesn't care about the price of the ingredients he buys, almost always choosing the most expensive ones, A5 beef, freshest vegetables, imported fruits, and so on, and just buying a bunch of them casually." Hongdongni, Xiaohui, you didn't lie to me, did you? Shocked by Bibin J. Although she rarely purchases ingredients or similar items, she still has a basic understanding of the prices. Ordinary vegetables are decent and not much expensive, but A5 beef, imported fruits, and these sky-high priced products. Although she has seen them, she has eaten them very few times, as stated by Bibin-J. But Takagi Yo didn't even look at the price and could easily buy a lot, which could even cover half a month's worth of food expenses for her family in just one meal. What kind of family can afford this? Yoshimoto's face gradually turned black. So, Xiaoyu, do you have anything else you want to argue with? Brush. Yubi Bin twisted her head and realized that she had just been deceived. Fortunately, she really believed it. Little fists clenched and stared at Takagi Yo, as if you were waiting to be beaten if you didn't give me a reasonable explanation. Well, I'll treat you to a big meal later, you can choose. Takagi Yoshitaka was as steady as an old dog, and had some understanding of Yubi Bin-J, which was easy to handle. Really? Is it really up to me to choose? Just like the changing weather, the expression on Bibin-J's face instantly turned cloudy and clear, as if the thing that had deceived her just now had not happened. Really, just order whatever you want and keep a Yubi Bin, there's no pressure at all. Hey, what's a one? Damn Xiaoyu, give me back my pocket money. Yubi Bin snatched the pocket money back from Takagi Yoshitaka's hand, regained consciousness, and the touch of her body made her cheeks slightly blush. She then glared at Takagi Yoshitaka and ran to report to Yumiko Miura. Takagi Yo suffered a few white-eye attacks in an instant, although there was no substantial damage. It seems that Takagi likes to bully Yubi Bin very much. A voice that seemed puzzled and somewhat questioning came from Kato's mouth. After thinking for half a second, he looked at the expressionless face of the girl and chuckled lightly, stupid. Sometimes teasing her makes her feel much happier. That Takagi student is really disgusting. It's okay, if it weren't for Kato not being so easily fooled, maybe I would have fooled you too. How do you know if I'm good at deceiving you without even trying? The girl whispered softly. Nanny. Did you say something to Kato just now? Takagi Yoshitaka, who had just been slightly distracted, replied. I said class is coming now. After speaking, he sat in his seat and turned around, leaving Takagi with a question mark on his face. Did I say something wrong? The third week of school starts on Monday. Staff office. Our teacher Hiratsuka is still wearing a white coat, sitting on the sofa with his legs crossed, holding a cigarette in his hand, and still swallowing clouds and mist in his mouth. He doesn't have the posture of a teacher of the people at all, more like those gangsters. Sitting opposite her was Takagi Yo, with a disdainful face fanning smoke. A small cigarette can cause endless harm. I'm talking about you, kid. Why don't you find a club? You can't just waste your prime time like this. Ping Zhoujing lectured to Gao Muyo. I have joined the returning home department, Takagi said solemnly. Hizuka Jing was stunned for a moment, almost didn't react, returned home. She originally wanted to get angry, but looking at the student in front of her, she finally sighed. Alright, I'm too lazy to argue with you. Anyway, I must join a club within this week, even if it's just a name. I always want to leave my own memories during adolescence, which is very important. If none of this can be achieved, you should know the consequences, right? Click, click. There is a crisp sound coming from the bones of the fingers. For students in Class F of first grade, many times, Hiratsuka Jing's image leans more towards a violent teacher. Yes, I'll just join one. Takagi Yo can only reluctantly agree, not afraid of iron fist sanctions. Although I had already been sanctioned once for playing against Ping Zhoujing before, I was blocked by Gao Muyo for most of my strength, but the punch still hurt me a lot. There's nothing else, I'll leave first. Takagi Yoshi stood up and said goodbye. Let's go, let's not worry about each one. Hizuka Jing continued to swallow the clouds and take a look at Takagi Yu's back, feeling that this stinky guy didn't look like a high school student at all. In Ping Zhoujing's eyes, in terms of behavior and handling things, Takagi Yoshitaka is not very like a high school student. At least Pingzuka Jing thinks that Takagi Yoshitaka is more like a middle-aged person who has experienced social abuse. On the other hand, Takagi Yo, who had left the staff office, was also pondering. Although not every student in Sakura Country is required to join a club, teachers will emphasize to some extent the benefits of joining a club. But it cannot be denied that joining a club has more advantages than disadvantages. Firstly, it can make more friends and cultivate students' social and hands-on abilities. Moreover, the school also provides financial support for formal clubs. In fact, Takagi Yo is not very resistant to joining clubs. It's just that he thinks it's better to go home than to join boring clubs. Isn't it okay to lie at home and be a salted fish? Of course, if there is a club that satisfies him and doesn't require him to participate in anything, he is still willing to go. The mascot of the club is talking about him. Then if you have time these days, go look for it. It has been decided that we need to find a club that can make a living without requiring him to do anything. If not, we will continue to devote ourselves to the army of returning home. Chapter 9. Send me a copy of the follow-up materials. You are listening at novelfull.audio. First grade class F. Hey, has Xiaoyu been asked by teacher Hiratsuka to join the club? Although I haven't joined the club yet, Miliko wants me to join the tennis club with her, but my athletic nerves are not very good, so I haven't considered it yet. Yubi Binjia leaned his index finger against his chin and pondered. Glancing at Yubi Binjia in front of him, this situation was indeed not suitable for clubs that require motor nerves, and not to mention whether he could hit people with the ball, his own burden was already heavy. At the age of 16, Yubi Bin has already committed a foul on this scale. Xiaoyu, where are your eyes looking? H is not allowed. Seemingly sensing Takagi's gaze, Baihama Jie took a step back from holding her chest in both hands. What are you talking about? I'm looking at the two people behind you, with a lewd expression on their faces. You can tell at a glance what they're doing. Takagi Yoshitaka pointed to the back row of seats, where Takasaka Kayasuke and Hobu Sho were whispering and hugging each other's shoulders, occasionally showing a lewd smile. It was clear that the two of them were discussing something interesting. There are also several girls in the class who look at the two with a disgusted expression. See, Smith Marseille, I misunderstood Xiaoyu. Yubi Bin apologized with a bow. It's okay, I'll go see what's going on. As the class monitor, I don't think we can let their bad habits affect other students. As he spoke, Takagi Yo-Yo stood up and walked towards the two of them. Looking at Takagi Yoshitaka's back, Yubi Bin always felt something was wrong with his attire. Hello, what are you two doing? The sudden sound startled both of them, and Hobu Xiang jumped up straight. Wow, it startled me. It turns out it's Takagi, what's up? Yeah, I thought it was teacher Takeda. Kayasuke Takasaka agreed. Takeda, a bald man with a fierce appearance, served as the math teacher for their class. Takagi's actions have also been noticed by many people in the class. After all, in the past 2 weeks, it seems that any student who asks Takagi to personally find them is not a good thing. Don't say I didn't remind you, this is the class. If you two have any interesting things, just discuss them privately. If you provoke public anger, even I can't help you. Glancing at the two of them, he signaled them to look around, and they were instantly alert. They carefully looked at the other people in the classroom, more or less already turning their gaze towards them. Yes, I'm really sorry. Next time. No, we won't make this mistake again. Hobu Xiang spoke loudly, which was also heard by most people in the classroom. As expected, the hostile gaze in the classroom instantly decreased by half as soon as these words were spoken. A child can be taught, and Takagi Yo next to him nodded. Thank you very much, Takagi. Takasaka Kayasuke scratched his head and smiled awkwardly. It's okay, just pay attention next time. What are you discussing? Takagi lowered her voice. Although the hostile gaze has decreased, there are still a few lines of sight scanning this side from time to time. Hee, this is it. Look at this, Takagi. Speaking carefully, he handed a mobile phone to Takagi Yo and saw a large bold red headline at a glance. Campus Beauty Ranking of Zongwu Higher Education. Then below are a few names and photos, such as Snow in a Year, Yuri Zamura, and so on, second-grade students such as Xia Jichio Shiyu and Sakurajima Mai, third-grade His. Takagi Yu took a gentle breath and realized that there were still such talents in school who had been performing this kind of operation at a young age. Even Takagi Yu had to give a thumbs up to the guy who was organizing this data. Cough, there's nothing else. You two should be more careful next time. Return the phone to Hubu Xiang and solemnly instruct the two of them. Apart from anything else, at least let those who intentionally or unintentionally pay attention to this side shift their gaze away. Send me a copy of this information later. Takagi murmured in a voice that only 3 people could hear, then turned around and left. Okay, it's all on me. Hubu Xiang patted his chest, promising. Takasaka Kayasuk looked at Takagi Yo's back with approval on his face, and couldn't believe that Takagi, you are also a fellow disciple. After this incident, Gao Muyo's reputation has slightly increased in the eyes of most students. Don't underestimate these little things, they may be of great help at certain times. After school in the afternoon. Because there was nothing to do, Takagi Yo planned to visit those clubs. Whether or not she joined them was one thing, and whether or not she had visited them was another. Even if she didn't join the club next time, at least if Hiratsuka Jing came to trouble him, Takagi Yo had an excuse to stop her. Originally, Takagi Yoshitaka wanted to invite Kato-Kei and Yubi Bin-jae to come together, but today Kato-Kei said that her family needs to go home early. Yubi Bin-jae and her friends made an appointment to go shopping. The student club is not located in the teaching building, but in a building with a library, laboratory, and music classroom. Since it is not a teaching building, there are more empty classrooms, and this is also where many clubs are located. Just as he approached, several senior students approached him. Nah, is this student interested in joining the literary society? There are many senior students in it. Don't listen to the nonsense of the Wenshui society. The senior sisters inside are all wolves, tigers, and leopards. You may be in danger if you go, so why don't you come to our choir? The senior sisters sing so beautifully. Young master, look at your amazing bones. Come to our basketball club and share your youth together. Get out of here, classmate. Why don't you come to our culinary research club? We have free desserts every day. A group of people came up and surrounded Takagi Yu, but it was only after Takagi Yu had exhausted his strength that he was able to escape Xingtian. These guys are also too crazy. They use all sorts of means to recruit people. Shaking his head, he arrived at a bulletin board at the corner of a staircase, which also had several promotional flyers. Glancing around, Takagi Yoshitaka's gaze finally stopped at a flyer that read Light Music Department. The above requirement is to have a guitarist. Well, it's not that I stopped looking because I saw the words inside saying there were delicious desserts and tea supplies. Although he is not a professional player, in his past life as a up owner, he still had some experience with guitar. Now, more than a decade has passed, and although he has not actually operated it, Takagi Yoshitaka is confident that he will soon be able to master it again, so he can go and take a look. It's not about delicious desserts and tea. That's the happy decision. At this moment, a hurried millet-haired girl ran down the stairs with a panicked expression, but accidentally stepped on it and took off in mid-air. Just as Takagi arrived at the staircase, her pupils shrank and her body quickly reacted. Chapter 10. Are you willing to join our light music department? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Bang! Even Takagi Yo, who persisted in exercising every day, was directly knocked to the ground with a huge impact force. Although her chest was a bit painful from the impact, fortunately she caught the girl in her arms. If Takagi fails to catch her, I'm afraid the girl will have to go straight to the hospital. Wawawa right. I'm sorry, you're not injured, are you? Yes, I'm sorry, it's all my fault. The girl, who had regained her senses, immediately stood up and knelt beside Takagi, her hands constantly groping on Takagi's body in panic, as if searching for the injured area. At the same time, tears couldn't stop falling down, clearly frightened. After calming down, Takagi exhaled a mouthful of turbid air and looked at the girl's pale face, feeling slightly relieved. It's okay. Hello, you're not, are you okay? Classmate, you talk. Fa girl cried as she saw her snot almost flowing down. The spot where the snot fell happened to be Gao Muyo's face. You can't let it fall. In order to prevent snot from falling on his face, Takagi Yoshitaka straightened up a carp and turned his body to the side, successfully avoiding the snot attack. However, there was a sharp pain in his waist, which made Takagi Yoshitaka gasp for air. My waist is flickering. Takagi secretly said something was wrong. Perhaps hearing a loud noise coming from the staircase, 3 young girls who were originally sitting in the club drinking tea hurriedly ran out and saw the 2 people on the ground immediately come forward to help. Hello, what's wrong with you? Do you want to go to the health room immediately? One of the black and straight girls came to help the crying girl. And Takagi was lifted by 2 other people, with a girl wearing a white headband on her left side asking, How are you, classmate? Can you still walk? Let's take you to the school health room now. If you can, go to the health room and take a look. Takagi felt the pain coming from his waist, which made him feel uncomfortable, but as a man, he is not so fragile, and the road is definitely walkable. A group of 5 quickly headed to the health room. Health room. After careful examination by the health teacher, it was determined that Gao Muyo was not seriously injured, but only suffered a sprain in the waist. He applied some medicine and a plaster to Gao Muyo. Next to her, Hirazuo, also known as the young girl saved by Takagi Yoshitaka, was nervously looking at the health teacher, with tears clearly visible on her face. The health teacher stood up and said to several people, Well, don't worry too much. Fortunately, this student's body is very good and there are no serious injuries. The sprain in the waist is not serious, and he will recover after a day or 2 of rest. Is it really okay? That means Takagi won't die, right? Hirazuo's words are astonishing. We got to know each other on the way through the health room together. I won't die. Takagi roared. Wu teacher. With a roar from Takagi, her small body shook violently. Hirazuo looked helplessly at the health teacher, believing more in her words than Takagi lying in bed. Pushi, it's just a sprain, it won't kill anyone. The health teacher couldn't help but laugh, this little guy is so cute. Really? Really, is it really true? It's really true. That's great. I thought Takagi was going to die, it's great to be alive. Having received a positive response from the health teacher, Pingzue also breathed a complete sigh of relief, as long as he didn't die. The disabled person Gao Muyo was silent on the side, which was me. If it were someone else, perhaps they would have been rescued in the hospital now. But it's really dangerous. By the way, why did Pings run on the stairs and then fall down? Tani Nakatsugu asked curiously on one side. Everyone turned their gaze to Hirazuo. As we all know, there are clear regulations in the corridors and hallways that prohibit running and playing around. So, what is the reason for Hirazuo to run on the stairs? Duo, actually. I was originally planning to go find the light music department, but when I walked up the stairs, I saw a terrifying picture, it was really scary. And then. Pop X5, several people in the health room are taking photos at the same time. Is that all? A picture scares you and you run away recklessly. What did you grow up on? Are you so timid? Under the pressure of the soul of roast in the body, Gao Muyo changed the topic. Okay, it's no big deal, thank you for sending us to the healthcare room, which has caused you trouble. It's not a big deal, just a 2-day rest. It doesn't have much impact on Takagi, so I don't plan to pursue anything. Tian Inoue, with his hands on his hips and a proud expression on his face, said, when we see injustice on the road, we must draw our swords to help. This is our duty that cannot be shirked. Akiyama Kane. We haven't done anything either. As long as you're okay, I'll be fine, said the zither playing the silk flute. Tani Nakaru seemed to remember something when he suddenly grabbed Hirasawa Wei's shoulder and said, wait, what did Hirasawa just say? Nanny, I saw a terrible picture. Pingzawe is now a frightened groundhog, afraid to move. No, it's the previous sentence. Before, the previous sentence. I'm going to find the light tone department. Yes, that's it. As she spoke, she turned her head to look at Akiyama Nagi, playing the zither and the silk flute. The excitement in her eyes couldn't be concealed. She is the member of the department that Mr. Yamanaka Sawako said. Because the number of people is not enough for 4, their light music section is still incomplete. If they cannot recruit anyone again after a period of time, they will also face the abandonment of the section, and the club classroom will be recycled. A few days ago, their mentor, Kazuko Nakasa, told them that a girl had already submitted an application form for joining the department, but she did not tell them her name, so they could only wait for a new member to join. Now, finally found the main owner. Pings, are you willing to join our light music department? Tani Nakaru stared at Hirasawa Wei with glowing eyes. Does Pings know how to play guitar? If you join us, we can form a complete band. We have free desserts and tea available. Chin blew the silk and Akiyama Nagi also threw bait at her, waiting for Hirasawa Wei to take the bait. A bit confused, Hirasawa Wei still hadn't figured out the situation and felt a bit dizzy. Are you from the light voice department? Yes, we belong to the light tone department. But can I only play the soundboard? Nanny. Times 3 inch. As soon as these words were spoken, several young girls were stunned. P.S. I don't know why the word cho is played on the piano, it can only be changed to silk. P.S. Thank you for your support, readers and bosses. If there are any issues, please provide your valuable feedback in the comments section. If there are indeed any issues with my writing, I will make revisions. Thank you.